everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Alexa. Today we're making blueberry muffins. I've measured out all my ingredients and I recommend that you do so too. You can find the full list of ingredients and measurements in the link in the description. Remember to watch the video first so you can be prepared. First, I'm going to sift together my flour, baking powder, and salt. This is to make sure my ingredients mix more evenly and there aren't any clumps. If you don't have a sifter, you can use a wire whisk or a fork. When you sift, you can push the ingredients through the sifter using a rubber spatula or a spoon, or you can just tap the sides with your hands. Now that my ingredients have all fallen through, I'm going to tap the sides of my sifter so I can make sure no ingredients are stuck to its stand. If your sifter doesn't have a stand, you don't need to do this step. Next, I'm going to put my egg, sugar, milk, and oil into the bowl of my stand mixer. Before I put my egg into my mixer, I'm going to quickly scramble it with a fork. This will help it combine better with my other ingredients. I'm going to scrape down the bowls my ingredients are in with a rubber spatula to make sure I can get as much of them as I can. I'm going to combine these ingredients on a medium speed. I'm going to scrape down the sides of my bowl, the bottom of my bowl, and the beater of my mixer with a rubber spatula to make sure my ingredients are all completely mixing in. Make sure that as little ingredients are stuck to your spatula as possible, because those ingredients could create clumps if they're combined later on. My ingredients look combined, so I'm going to add in my sifted dry ingredients. Make sure that all the ingredients enter the mixing bowl, otherwise you could be missing some necessary ones. I'm going to start my mixer on the lowest setting so no dry ingredients fly out of it. Once the ingredients start to combine, I can speed it up to a medium speed. You don't want to overmix your batter, so mix it until it is just combined. Some of my dry ingredients are going up the sides of my bowl, so it's time for me to scrape it down. Don't forget to scrape down the beater and the bottom of the bowl as well. Sometimes it can be helpful to use a second rubber spatula to clean off your first one. Now, I can restart my mixer. My batter looks good, so now I can add in my yogurt. If you'd like, you can use sour cream instead. I'm going to scrape down my measuring cup so I can get as much yogurt out of it as possible. I'm going to mix in my yogurt until it is just combined. Some of my yogurt doesn't look combined, so I'm going to scrape down the sides of my bowl again. I'm going to restart my mixer. Before I combine my blueberries with my batter, I'm going to lightly coat them with a little bit of flour. You only need to do this step if you use frozen blueberries. This will help them to not explode when they're baking. This isn't a guarantee, so still make sure you're delicate with them. To do this, I'm going to put my blueberries into a bowl and sprinkle some of the flour on top of them. To coat them, I'm going to use a rubber spatula to lightly mix them to spread out the flour. Make sure to not be too rough with them, otherwise they could burst. It looks good, but I'm going to shake it a little bit to make sure. Now, I'm going to add my blueberries into my batter. I'm going to fold them in using a rubber spatula so they don't break open. It's still getting a little purple, but that's expected. That won't change the consistency of the muffins, and it doesn't mean that any of them have burst. Next, I'm going to scoop out my muffins. I'm using a third of a cup ice cream scoop, but you can use a third of a cup measuring cup if you don't have one. Make sure the ice cream scoop is entirely full and that you're getting blueberries in each muffin. If you notice you have enough batter to make more muffins but not enough blueberries, you can add in a few more to your batter. When you don't have enough batter to make another muffin, you can add in your extra batter into your pre-existing muffins. Try to make sure all your muffins are about the same size. We filled our muffins close to the top, but if you'd like your muffins to have a muffin top, you can fill them all the way to the top. If you'd like, you can also put blueberries on top of your muffins. Make sure to press them in though, so they stay in your muffin. We've done this both ways and it comes out great either way. If you'd like, you can skip to the next part of this video, but you can stay and continue to scoop out your muffins with me if you'd like. Now, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar onto the top of my muffins. This is an optional step, but I like the crispy top it gives them. You don't need to use all the sugar you scoop out. As long as your hands are clean and dry, you can put the sugar back into your sugar container. Next, I'm going to put my muffins in the oven. My oven's preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. My muffins took 25 minutes to bake. I'd recommend setting a timer for 20 minutes and then set another timer for a few more minutes if they aren't cooked yet. If you use fresh blueberries, it could take 5 minutes less to cook. To check if your muffins are done, press your finger into the center of a muffin, and if it bounces back up, it's cooked. If you don't want to touch your muffins, you can push a toothpick into them, and if it comes out clean, they're done. Put your muffins on a cooling rack to cool. And our muffins are done and looking delicious. Please let me know what you thought of the video in the comments and how the recipe went for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can see when new videos are added. Thank you and enjoy!